Hello everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes to go over the rudder maintenance for the Odyssey 10, Odyssey 12, and Expedition models. So this is a maintenance item that I would um, suggest that you do every 6 months to 12 months, really depending on your usage, and then also your aggressiveness with the control, because it does involve the cable, and so for some folks who pull on a little harder, you might find that cable wears a little bit more. But just to get started, I just want to quickly go over the different components of the rudder system. So we've got the rudder control here, and then of course the rudder on these models is located underneath, and then you've got this disc here that's used for attaching the cable as well as the rudder from down below. Now this cable it's a single stainless steel cable. It goes in one side, goes up to the rudder control. There's a cylinder underneath that I'll show you in just a moment. It wraps around that cylinder and then goes back to the other side. So again, it is one cable. There is two tubes that run between these two sections. So if you ever did have to replace that cable, you're just going to feed it right into that tube. And it's a standard cable, stainless steel, that is available, Amazon and a number of different kayak shops. So as far as tools, you should have received, I usually put them in the back of the seat, a bag that has 3 Allen wrenches. 2 of them are fairly small, and then you've got this one regular size. So I'm going to go ahead and empty these out here. And to get started, we're going to do some work in here, but we need to create a little bit of slack. So I'm going to go ahead and take this rudder off. And so it's just the one screw in the middle. It will fall, so you want to go ahead and grab it if you have your kayak propped up. Unscrew it. And then I usually just put this screw right back in the top so I don't lose it. Doesn't always cooperate. Okay, so, and then I'm going to take this disc and I'm going to lift it up just a little bit. That way I'll be able to pull it forward. So to do some work in here, we're going to remove these 4 corner screws. Almost there. And this is also something you can do if you find that your rudder seems a little bit out of alignment. This will get it back into alignment. Okay, so with the 4 screws removed, just going to pull this up. And again, with this disc being up, it allows you to, kind of pull this out a little bit and get a little bit of slack. You don't need a whole lot. You just really need access to this set screw. It's a brass screw here at the top of the cylinder. And what you want to do is you want to take the smallest Allen wrench, and you just want to make sure that it is as tight as possible. Okay, so this is all the way down. Once you have that as tight as possible, go ahead and set the plate back down. And I'm just going to put 2 of the screws back because I'm going to be pulling on these cables and I don't want the plate to move around. So go ahead and just, they don't have to be all the way down. Put a couple of screws in there. And then the other thing is, go ahead and make sure that this rudder control is straightforward. In fact, if you have another person who can help you, when you're pulling on the cable here, if they can be holding this straight up like this, it helps. So now I'm going to take the middle size Allen wrench, okay, you're going to pull this and put it back down in place, okay, and then what you're going to do is I'm going to make sure that there's no slack. So I'm going to loosen this one on the right, and I'm going to, while putting some pressure on this disc, I'm going to pull this steel cable, and I want to make sure that that remains straight up and down. Okay, I don't want to pull it to the point where I turn the cable off to the side. And once you have that slack out, go ahead and tighten this down as much as you can. Okay, and then you're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, make sure that is straight up and down. I'm going to loosen this. I'm going to pull on that cable, not too much where it causes it to turn, and then I'm going to keep that pressure on this disc, and there we go. So that's as tight as possible. Okay? Now I want to put this rudder back in. When you put the screw in for the rudder, you want to just hand tighten it. You don't want to make it so tight that it's hard to move. So you will find that if you turn this too tight, when you go up here to move this one way or the other, it's kind of tough to move. So you want it to be tight, but it doesn't have to be way over tightened. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put these two screws down a little bit further so it's not wobbly, is I'm just going to test it out. So I'm going to turn it all the way left. Just check the angle of my rudder. So I see I have a good angle there. And now I'm going to take it all the way right. And I see that I have a good angle there. So mission accomplished. The rudder is aligned. The set screws are tight. Because again, you don't want to find that over time where the set screws become loose and then you lose the ability to control your rudder while you're out on the water. So probably every 6 months or so, you just want to do an inspection on those. You also want to check out your cable to make sure that it's not worn. If it is, it's easy enough to replace that cable. I can do a separate video where I show you how you feed that cable in. But again, there's just two tubes, and you're going to push it in one side around the cylinder and back through the other tube. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.